You are unhappy in life because you're living your life to meet societal expectations instead of living on your own terms. Living to please others might seem easier, but it's unsatisfying and exhausting when you're sacrificing your own happiness to please others. That is why it is time to stop caring about what other people think of you and start living the life that you want to live. Don't waste your valuable life living someone else's dream. You get nothing from that. Let me show you how you can free yourself from societal expectations and actually create the life you want to live so that you can live as your authentic self. Living a life to please others is exhausting and it's unfulfilling. You are constantly catering to other people's preferences and opinions about how you should be living your life. Let me let you in on a little secret. Your happiness matters, and your happiness is completely and entirely up to you. Nobody else on the planet is responsible for your happiness except for you. Yet, you choose to let other people dictate how you should live your life when they have no gauge on your happiness. If you don't choose yourself, if you don't choose your happiness, how will you ever be satisfied with your life? No one else on the planet has a gauge for your happiness. So it's up to you to ensure that you live a life that you genuinely are passionate about, are satisfied with, so that you can be happy, fulfilled, and enjoy your experiences. The cost of blindly following societal expectations is just that. It's your happiness, it's your fulfillment, and it's your satisfaction with life. You don't have to bear the burden of living a life that caters to everybody on the planet. You actually don't even have to live a life that caters to anyone except yourself. I'm not saying you need to be rude or you need to be mean. I'm saying you have a right to be selfish about your own happiness. Once you accept the fact that you are responsible for your happiness and that nobody owes you anything, that's the first step into recognizing that you have what it takes to take a step in the direction of living a more fulfilling life. In fact, Jay Shetty actually says, when we tune out the opinions, expectations, and obligations of the world around us, we begin to hear ourselves. And that's exactly the point. It's about breaking free from societal expectations so that you can hear what you actually want in life and make it happen. Now, breaking free from societal expectations isn't easy. It's not just about ignoring everything in front of you and mindlessly going about life. It's about choosing your own voice and desires over external opinions. Imagine how freeing it will feel to live a life where you're not constantly catering to every person in your life, your friends, your family, their friends, their family. And the only person in charge of how you live your life is you. It's difficult. As humans, we often follow the herd. We see one person do something, it becomes an expectation that we do it ourselves, and we naturally are inclined to follow in that direction. It doesn't feel comfortable to be, the black sheep, the lonely wolf who strays away from the pack. And you don't have to stray away from the pack. But if you genuinely don't want to pursue the path that everybody else is pursuing, then you shouldn't be. You should be straying away from the pack. You should be embarking on your own journey that enables you to live a life you actually want. You have one life, one time on this planet. Why would you waste it being someone you don't want to be? So let go of the guilt. Stop feeling guilty that you're not like everybody else, or you don't just want to blindly follow what everybody else is doing. It's not wrong. It's authentic. It's you. You should be proud of who you are, and you should encourage that. Be confident in that. That's what we want to get out of people, right? There are 7 billion people on the planet. What would we do with 7 billion people that are exactly the same? It's pointless. We are unique in our own ways, meaning we are meant to pursue our own paths. If you actually are passionate and genuinely want to go down the pack of the herd, do it. But if you don't, stop lying to yourself, be honest with yourself, and give yourself the life that you deserve. Remember, you have a right and a responsibility to be unapologetically yourself. Now, if you guys can relate to this, let's dive into 5 simple steps to breaking free from societal expectations. But before we dive into that, if you're liking this video so far, go ahead and hit that like button and that subscribe button too so that you never miss a video. All right, so the first step to break free from societal expectations and live as your authentic self is to reflect on your core values. So core values are things that are important in the way you live your life. And they're essential pillars of how you live your life or how you see as the right way to live your life. Everybody has different core values. It's important that you understand them because what you want to do here is you want to make sure that your core values actually align to how you're living your life. So the actions that you're taking meet your core values. If they don't, that's an indication that you're not actually living the life that you're intending to. So for example, my core values are my health and my well-being, my relationships, my autonomy, and my freedom. When I concentrate on those 4 or 5 values, when those are in check, my life's in check. If I'm not following any of those pillars, something is off. I don't feel like myself and I don't feel happy. I feel unsatisfied and unfulfilled with how I'm living my life. The same will be true for you based on whatever your core values are. So make sure you take some time, sit with a journal, talk to some friends, see how you can dissect what your core values are. Once you understand core values, the second step is to challenge societal expectations. When it comes to societal expectations, we actually have to be conscious. Often we run on autopilot. And the danger with that is we don't actually realize the unconscious behaviors that we've adopted. So we're living on autopilot and doing things that don't necessarily align with what we intend. And that's the problem. So as you go about your day, reflect on your week, your months, your years, how you've been living your life, and ask yourself why, right? Why did you go to that university? Why did you pick that career path? Why did you pick that job? Why are you still at that job? And ask yourself if you genuinely did that on your own terms, or if you felt pressure or instinctively you felt that was the right thing to do, so you went for it. Now, there isn't anything wrong with pursuing this path, so long as it's what you want to do. And that's why we want to make sure we're not just assuming here, we're asking the right questions and saying, okay, does this actually align with the life I want to live? Or am I blindly just following some sort of arbitrary expectation set by society, which tells me that this is the right way to live my life? Once we've done those 2 steps, the next step is to actually define personal success. Now, this is a little bit of an uncomfortable step, because we're so used to just following out a set path in front of us. We understand that if we go to a good school and get a real job and work our way up and buy a house and get married, if we follow that path, we seem to be successful. But that's not how every individual defines success. So think about what personal success is to you. What does it mean? Once you're able to define it, then you can better align your goals and your habits that are represented in your core values so that you can actually attain some level of excellence and fulfillment in your life. You have to be striving towards something. That's the goal here. Step 4 is all about living life on your own terms. This is where you get to say no, and you should say no. Oftentimes we feel so obligated, I know I do, to just say yes to everything. Our default is always yes, or I'll figure out a way to make it happen if you're unavailable. Your default should actually be no, because you're putting your time to yourself and you're making time to fit other people, other commitments into that. So when you make your default no, you actually allow yourself to get rid of 80% of the fluff things you feel obligated to go to that you don't actually want to go to. And then you can then spend the spare time that you now have on the things you actually want to do. I'm not saying cut everyone off entirely and, live a selfish life on your own. I mean, if that's what you really want to do, you can, but I think there's a lot of value in personal relationships. So what I would say there is focus on the relationships that you actually want to build and cultivate. If you don't want to build and cultivate your relationship, probably shouldn't be in that relationship. Just something to think about. And then the final step is practicing self-compassion. I know I've talked about this before, but I'm going to reiterate it again. It's so easy to be hard on yourself, especially if you're a go-getter, you're high achieving, you're ambitious. But even if that's the case, it's so important to be kind to yourself. Treat yourself with kindness, especially when you doubt yourself. And trust me, as you're embarking on this path of living your life on your own terms, you will certainly be confronted by self-doubt. So when that occurs, it's important that you're kind and compassionate to yourself so you can get past it and you can grow past it. If you're hard on yourself, then you're going to be in a negative mindset that's going to disempower you from pursuing the life you want to live, and you're going to find yourself in the same situation, only more miserable. So be compassionate. So with these 5 steps, reflecting on your values, challenging societal expectations, defining your version of personal success, living life on your own terms, and practicing self-compassion, you now have the formula to breaking free from societal expectations. I hope now with these steps, you have some clarity on how you can escape this trap of living mindlessly, living an unfulfilled life, and ultimately an unhappy life. You deserve better. You deserve to create the life you want to live. Remember, breaking free from societal expectations gives you power over your happiness. You deserve that power and you have that power. Comment down below if you're ready to live your life on your own terms. And also, if you're ready for the next level, book a call with me and let's discuss how we can create the life you want to live together. All right, guys, that's all I have for this video. I will catch you guys in the next one.